Today I want to show you my whole beat making workflow. We're going to make a sampled beat from scratch. First, of course, chop up the sample, then we're going to add some drums, then create some variations of the melody and extract the bass from the sample. So we got the bass on a different track. After that, we're going to build an arrangement in song mode and then mix and master the whole beat. And in the end, I'm going to just lay down some vocals over the beat. Let's do it. What's up, this is Marrcello. If you're interested in MPC tutorials just like this one, consider subscribing. And if this is of any help to you, leave a like and a comment and hit the bell so you don't miss any future tutorials. Alright, I would say let's dive in. I loaded up this beautiful melody from Cymatics. Let's chop it up. Sample edit, trim, and let's just chop it up using the manual mode. And let's activate 0 snap. Alright, I think that's cool. Let's see what we can do with it. Let's convert it. Hold shift, convert into a new drum program. Slice type pad parameters. Do it. Alright, let's go to main. Let's find this sample. Here it is. So this is the chopped up sample. Alright, we are on 90 BPM. Let's just name the track sample. Sample. Alright. Let's name the program sample 2. So this is clear. Now let's find a pattern. Just okay, let's go to program edit, maybe play with the tune a little bit. Alright, now let's add some drums. Track 2, I loaded up 4 drum breaks. Or 4 drum loops. Let's just... I like that one. Let's chop this one up. Sample edit. Let's do it with the threshold. Alright, I like that. Shift, convert, new drum program using slices. Do it. Go to main. Find the program, the count. It's from count call. Okay. Yeah, let's play this. Let's delay this one a little bit. Go to program edit, samples page, and now offset. this one drums. Let's add some more percussion, maybe more some more layers. Make a new program, browse, and now let's go. Let's find some percussion. All right, I loaded up some percussion sound. Let's name the track Perk. Today we are naming our tracks very, you know, like you should. Perk program. Let's layer the snare with this one. So we don't need to record a bass because the sample already has a bass in it, and I like that. Let's play this, but let's go to Program Edit and reverse it, maybe. And warp it a little bit, so make it longer. Yeah. And let's change the sample play from one shot to note on. But let's turn off timing correct. Go to envelopes. Let's change the filter. Let's just make a high cut. Let's add another melody instrument. Maybe a plugin. All right, now let's find a. I don't like the sound of this one. This is not. Do it again. Okay, now let's change the sound. Let's put some spring delay, spring reverb on this one. So now let's actually, I like the flute, but let's tweak it a little bit. It's too clean for me. Let's add the granulator. Okay, this is all right. Let's name the flute track flute. And let's also name the program flute. And now let's create a variation of the sample track. Go to the sample, copy the track to track 5. Let's call it sample 2. Do it. Mute sample 1. Track 5, sample 2 is our new, but I don't want to have the same sample program, so let's duplicate it. But first maybe let's put a motherfucker on the program before we duplicate it, so that we can motherfucker. And let's go to the kick, hold main, choose drums, pad mix, here's the kick. Let's put the motherfucker input on the kick. Yeah. Alright, like that. Let's go back to main, and now let's go to our new sample track and let's duplicate the sample program. So we can add some variations maybe and some effects. Okay, start with this one. Let's turn off the metronome sound. I added some little variations to the sample. Now let's put a different effect on this program, on the sample duplicate. Maybe some reverb on it. Or should we put some reverb on it? Reverb on it? Maybe not, because there's also the bass, which I don't want to be affected by the reverb, so let's put something else on it. This is the downside to having the bass in the sample. You can't, I mean, I could just, actually we could just separate the sample from the bass. Yeah, maybe let's separate the sample from the bass, because it's not bad to have the bass on a different, on its own track. So let's take the original sample program and duplicate it. Copy the track, copy track, and let's call it bass. This new track, do it. It's track 6. Let's go to track 6 now, and let's duplicate the program again. Duplicate. But now we are going to call the program bass, and let's solo it for now. Go to track mix, and let's mute the motherfucker. Let's put a high cut filter on this one. So EQ, air power EQ. Let's just cut away all the highs, so that the bass yes. 20 Hertz. Okay, now we got the bass extracted. So now we got the bass on a different program. That means we have to do a low cut. So if we mute the sample 2, we have to make a low cut to the original sample program because we don't want the bass to be doubled, you know. So let's go to the sample, add EQ, and make a low cut. So now this has a nice side effect that we can also control the sidechain. So actually I don't want the bass to be sidechained, so now the bass is not being sidechained to the kick, but the sample is, so this is nice. Now let's go back to our sample 2 and let's now we also have to do a low cut here on this program. But we can add the reverb after that because we don't have the bass in it anymore. So let's make a low cut. Okay, now let's put some reverb on this one. Really like the small room. Alright, let's make another variation to the sample. Let's copy sample 2. So let's call it sample 3. And let's mute sample 2. Let's go to sample 3 and let's duplicate the program again. Let's go to track mix and let's change some parameters. Maybe add some kind of filter gate. I want to add a different effect. Maybe let's take out the reverb and let's add, I think, the pitch shift, air pitch shift. Yeah, here it is. Let's shift it up 12 semitones. I think we got everything we need right now, so let's do a little mixing. Maybe let's set up one return track to just send some of those sample programs to this one. Return. Let's make it a reverb, but maybe a small room, but medium chamber, something like that. Let's put an EQ after the reverb to make a high cut, low cut, just to keep out the high frequency material and the low frequency material. We don't want that in the reverb. All right, now let's just see how it sounds. Programs. If we send sample 3, this reverb. Okay, I think I'm pretty happy with the mix overall, so I'm not gonna tweak anything. But what I'm going to do is just see how it sounds in mono. So I'm on the master page. So modulation, stereo width, and just make the width 0. Okay, mono is alright. But let's add let's add a little bit of high end to the master. EQ. So let's try to put a shelving curve, maybe 2 dB from maybe 1000. Let's say. Let's actually add some EQ to the kick, because the kick is could be a little more punchy. So hold main, go to drums. Here's the kick. It's combined with the hi-hat, so we have to watch out for this one. Let's add an EQ. And maybe let's try adding 2 dB on 100 Hertz, or maybe, yeah, let's make it 2 dBs on 100 Hertz. Let's just try how it sounds and make the Q like very broad, maybe 5 or something like that. And I can feel the bass and the kick are clashing a little bit, so let's just go to the bass and let's put a slight Madadaka on the bass, because on the program, because it's just a little bit too. Today we don't need any submixes, I think. Let's just save. December, how should we call it? Cactus. I'm not very inspired, but let's call it Cactus. This is called Cactus in German, so I'm not the best in giving my beats names. Alright. Now, next step is to build the arrangement. So let's copy sequence 1, or let's name sequence 1 intro. Let's copy it to sequence 2. Let's call sequence 2 verse. Let's just say it will be a rap beat. Verse 1, do it. Let's also copy sequence 2. Let's call it verse 2. It's a little okay, intro, verse 1, verse 2. Let's copy it again. Let's call it hook. And maybe we have some kind of bridge maybe. So let's copy it again. Or let's name this one bridge. And let's copy the bridge and call it hook. All right. Now we got 5 sequences. And we got enough material, I think. So let's go to track mute. For the intro sequence, we want the sample, maybe the normal sample to play. So let's just mute everything else. Yes, okay. For verse 1, we want the drums to play. The bass maybe. Okay, normal sample, bass and drums. Verse 2. Percussion maybe. Sample 2, bass and drums. Let's put the percussion into verse 1. Okay. Now let's go to bridge. To the bridge, let's mute the bass and the bridge, the drums. Okay, and now let's go to the hook. I want the sample 3 to play in the hook, the drums, the percussion, the flute, the bass. And maybe sample 2 as well. So sample 3 is actually like one octave higher than sample than the other ones, so it's actually okay. Maybe let's go to track mix and put an EQ to, oh yeah, maybe let's put sample 3, let's make the low cut a little higher. So that the frequencies of sample 3 and of sample 2, in this case, don't clash. Yeah. Now it sounds a little bit more cleaned up. I think we got everything we need. We got the intro, verse 1, verse 2, verse bridge, hook. So now let's go to menu, song. Now let's just insert. Let's start with the intro. Yeah, let's make it 4 bars. That's cool. Then let's start with the verse. Let's just alternate between verse 1 and verse 2 to vary this thing a little bit. So verse 1, verse 2, verse 1, verse 2. This is all verse 1, but it's the first part of the verse and the second, first, second, you know, like that. So you can. And now let's insert the bridge. Insert the bridge, and now insert the hook. Let's make the hook play it 2 times. And let's make the whole thing again. So after the hook comes verse 1, then just verse 1, verse 2, then verse 1 again, then verse 2, then the bridge, and then the hook. And then maybe the intro again. In this case, the outro. Alright, this is a pretty simple arrangement. So now let's go back to main, find a empty sequence, sequence 6, menu again, song. And now let's convert this arrangement into a sequence, to sequence 6. Include muted tracks, this is important, and do it. Go back to main, and now now we got our sequence, our whole beat on the sequence, full song, let's call it full song. Now we can, for example, add some automation. Let's go to track mix, let's go to the master page, and now let's just main, and let's make it start at 5 bars, at the 5th bar. Save. And now let's go to master, and we already added some EQ. So now let's first look at the level. It's too high. Let's go to programs. Let's just lower the levels of those programs. Six dB. Alright, now let's go to master again. Okay, let's add a compressor. Just to glue all those elements together. Just a slight mix down a little bit, release. You see the reduction is very, very subtle. Okay, now in the end let's add maybe some kind of harmonic distortion, some kind of distortion, air distortion maybe. Okay, now let's bring the mix down. It's very subtle. And in the end, let's add the limiter, the air limiter, to bring up the level. The low frequency mono is cool. Let's put everything under 150 Hertz or so in mono. Let's make the ceiling minus 0.2, and now let's bring up the gain. maybe make the release a little shorter. Alright. Yeah. Okay. Marrcello, der Typ, der an der Tischtennisplatte flackt, super Apfelsaft mit Gin, aber nicht aus Double Cups. Sie kacken ab, weil sie immer nur Blick auf Patte haben. Ich habe Hunger für 5, sie werden von der Latte satt. Nick mit dem Kopf zum Takt wie Wackeldackel, der Shuttle macht. Gleich Lift off, der Schiffskauf bin ich doch. Warte ab, warte drauf, bis du endlich dein Kraft packst. Ich sprech nicht von Licht, wenn ich sage, dass du einen Schatten hast. Mantel und ne Schiebermütze, sie gucken naiv und ich erzähl ihnen ein paar fiese Witze. Verbinde mich mit der Bluetooth-Box, Knut von der fiesen Grütze. Ich lasse den Beat von alleine, da kann dich niemand schützen. Ein Biest, ne, auf Beat kippen, paar Vinos und ein Pivo. Laufe damit durch die Siedlung, Kopfkino wie ein Dino. Mit grad mal 30, die Sache neigt sich dem Ende zu. Quatsch, ey, du bist doch grad erst 30. Okay. Ey, du bist doch grad erst. Yeah. Steige aus dem Hamsterrad rein in die Hängematte. Scheiß auf Beine trainieren, wird Zeit, dass ich sie hängen lasse. Hänge fest zwischen zwei Sendemasten. Hab einen vollen Kopf, schreib ihn leer und drück auf Sende-Taste. Steige aus dem Hamsterrad rein in die Hängematte. Scheiß auf Beine trainieren, wird Zeit, dass ich sie hängen lasse. Hänge fest zwischen zwei Sendemasten. Hab einen vollen Kopf, schreib ihn leer und drück auf Sende-Taste. Yeah. Alright, so we did a little bit of mixing today, but only briefly. If you really want to improve your mixing skills on the MPC and standalone, watch this step-by-step masterclass on how to achieve great sounding mixes on the MPC.